my whole thing is if I can understand their thought process or their meaning of why they're doing something, and again, academically or behaviorally, to be honest with you, but if I can understand the why behind it, then I have a way to adjust as a teacher to be able to help reach every learner instead of just being like, we all think this way, it's all going to be done this way kind of method.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Inspiring Teachers, the Honored podcast, where we shine a spotlight on life-changing teachers across the country. I'm Hannah, your podcast host, and our podcast is brought to you by Honored, which is a national nonprofit organization dedicated to honoring and elevating great teachers nationwide. Our mission is to inspire and retain great teachers, keeping them in the classroom as long as possible. Every month of the school year at Honored, we select an exceptional educator in the United States to be the recipient of the Honored National Teaching Award. Each honoree, as we call them, receives a $5,000 cash reward, and we then tell a story on our website and our social media platforms of how that teacher has impacted their students' lives. To learn more about our organization, you can go to our website at honored.org. While you're there, if you have a teacher you would like to recognize, you can nominate them for our Honored National Teaching Award at honored.org/nominate. We are so excited to have you listening in on another Honoree podcast episode. Today, we are joined by Rachel Bowen, a math teacher as well as a volleyball, basketball, and track coach at Warren Middle School in Forney, Texas. She was nominated for this award by her student Ethan Hernandez. To help share the impact of Rachel Bowen's teaching, we are joined today by Ethan and Ethan's mom, Jessica. Before we dive into Rachel Bowen's story, we are excited to kick off our honoree episode with our special segment, Teachers Who Inspired, which is featured at the beginning of each honoree episode. Here, we invite well-known individuals to share a story about a teacher who had a lasting impact on their lives. These stories remind us that behind every great achievement, there's often an inspiring teacher who believed in their potential. Today, we're thrilled to have our segment feature Pulitzer Prize, Grammy, Emmy, and Tony Award-winning songwriter, actor, producer, and director Lin-Manuel Miranda, who shares about a teacher who left an incredible impact on his journey. This audio is credited to CBS Mornings. You can find more information on the source of this audio in the episode description.
Dr. Herbert's the reason I'm sitting here talking to you. He was the... I wrote a musical instead of doing my homework for his class in 8th grade. And he said, you could be good at this and you should stop hibernating in my class and you should be doing this, because we had a student-written theater club at my high school. And Rembert's the one who nudged me in that direction, and he sort of changed my life forever with that.
We are so grateful to include that wonderful audio for our Teachers Who Inspired segment. Throughout the rest of the episode, we'll share Rachel Bowen's story and the amazing impact she has on her students. To start us off, you'll hear from Rachel Bowen, or Coach Bowen as called by her students, who shares what led her to teaching as she found her inspiration in multiple past teachers.
I knew I was going to be a teacher from day one. There's nothing else I wanted to do. If somebody asks, what's your backup plan? Till this day, I'm like, I don't really have a backup plan. This is what I truly feel like I was called to do. And then, so going up from a kid playing school all the time to in 3rd grade, I had a teacher named Mrs. Adair. And she just through some of struggles in life that I had, she just was a lover and a nurturer. And she would give me these little pigs. I remember pig coupons, and she would bring me into my classroom and be like, come in here, you can have a Pop-Tart. Come in here, I'll help you with this. And then it even got to where I would take some of my younger siblings in her class. And then I had a teacher, one that was probably not as nice, but I was always taught that everybody is put into your life for a reason, and it can help you in either way. It may help you grow, to become stronger, to be able to learn how to deal with some trials, maybe that teacher had given me. And so that still kind of just made me either be a teacher. I still wanted to be a teacher, even learning through her. And then finally, my freshman year, my algebra teacher, actually, her name was Mrs. Locke. I always loved math. I wasn't phenomenal at it, but I loved school. And then she just made me fall in love with it. A lot of the characteristics is Ethan would probably describe with me. She was very strict. We had to do this. We had homework, but it was just she explained it to a way that I was this is so easy. Why do people not like math? And so then that kind of made me think, I want to be that teacher because math is the subject that everybody's like, oh my gosh, I have to go to math. And so then I was like, I want to be a kind of a mixture, like of both of those teachers that made an impact on my life.
To learn more about Coach Bowen's incredible impact on her students, we spoke with her student, Ethan, who talks about what led him to nominate her for our award. Before Coach Bowen's class, math never quite clicked for him. But through Coach Bowen's teaching, everything changed as he gained confidence and a deeper understanding of the material.
So I nominated Coach Bowen because she was that math teacher for me as well. She really made it click. And like, I've done well in math, like in my past years, but it was only really till Coach Bowen's class that I was really able to like actually wrap my head around it. And like, I would kind of just get by and all the other ones. I would be like, yeah, I can do this, I can do this. But Coach Bowen made me understand like why the process that we're doing works. It was a take on it that I'd never really like understood in math. And I was like, whoa, this is insane. Like I've never realized this before. And it was the coolest thing ever. And she is also one of the only teachers that I've seen that has made students that have not wanted to do work or just like dropped a couple assignments, didn't do anything, took the zeros because they didn't care. She made them actually care about math, and they would turn in their work and all of a sudden they start getting 100s. And it's really my closest friends that like, they really wanted to get 100s and they wanted to be that great student, but they just couldn't understand it. And then to see them become that student in Coach Bowen's class was just amazing. And I was like, there's no other teacher that I've had until this point. And I just really wanted to do something to show how much I appreciated what she did for me and my friends. And this is what I saw.
Coach Bowen has a gift for instilling hard work and perseverance in her students. She often quotes Kobe Bryant, reminding her students that great things come from hard work and that struggling with something doesn't mean we need to give up. She also teaches accountability and self-awareness through her yellow card process, where students reflect on why they didn't complete assignments. This process helps her understand the root issues of what her students are facing and teaches them to recognize their hurdles so they can get to the next level.
I think it's a buy-in, to be honest with you. It doesn't start that way. Like, I am tough, I'm probably strict, but like, I feel like so much we think a failure to be good at something means we give up. And that's why I love that quote. It's like a failure to be good at something doesn't mean we give up. It's that we got to persevere through it. One thing I tell my kids is like, I will never give up on you. It does not matter where you're at in my class, whether you are my lowest student, my highest student, my most motivated student, or my laziest student. I've had several conversations that I'm not giving up on you and I'm not going to stop. I will find a way to get every single thing from you. I just need the same in return. Like I need them to not give up on themselves. And so I think that's just something that we have to teach the kids, and we have to train the kids to understand that, like, just because something gets tough in life, and it's not even just school for me. Yes, of course, it's my classroom, but it's just like in life that once something's thrown your way that's a struggle, doesn't mean that we just have to completely give up on everything. It's just, where do we find that to persevere through it so that way we can reach the next level? And then it's just celebrating it. Hard work pays off is like a big thing that I go on, but like it's an internal thing that once you look down and you're like, wow, my hard work paid off, that's a reward that's irreplaceable. You know, it's not worth amount of money. It's not worth the amount of like a gift you can get. It's like, wow, I worked hard and I did that. Are you kidding me? Like, that's just crazy. And I want the kids to feel that. And so that's kind of where I do it. And then I want them to buy into it. You know, it's like I do this thing, like if a kid doesn't do their work, they have to fill out a yellow card for me. Like I want to know their why. And I tell them, like, if I was too lazy to do it, right, I was too lazy to do it. But it's just really letting me know what your why is. Why are we not getting there to that next level? And then me diving deep with them to figure out what it is. Is it that you didn't understand it? Is it something's going on in life? And just figuring out, though, going back to the hard work, is once you know your why, then we can start pushing forward past that, persevere through that to get to the next level.
Building on Coach Bowen's ability to teach students the value of hard work, Ethan reflects on the lessons that have stuck with him. He talks about how, if students know they will be out of school, she encourages them to complete the work ahead of time so they don't have to catch up when they are back. He also expands on how Coach Bowen's yellow card process taught him about honesty and taking accountability. For Ethan, He's carried these lessons into his high school years and will continue to carry them throughout his future.
I would go on like theater trips and we would miss school for it because we were competing. And she's the only teacher that I've had do this, but unless I like specifically went and asked a teacher, but she would have me get my work done before I left rather than catch up after I came back. And whenever I first heard this, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do double the amount of work for like the week before. And I was like, this is going to be terrible. I already have to like prepare for theater and all this stuff. And I was like, this is not the way to do it. And then the first time I did it, I was like, okay, I'm kind of getting used to it. I think I can handle this. And then whenever we went on the trip and I'm so tired and I come back to school and all the other classes, they hand me assignments upon assignments on assignments. And the only thing I wanted to do is just like, I just competed last Saturday. I'm exhausted, except I get to Coach Bowen's class, which was arguably like the most like, I have to be on top of this class. I didn't get anything. I was right on track with all my other students and I could just hop right back into the class and not feel like I had to like catch myself up and I had to go into overdrive after I was already exhausted. And so that was just like amazing to teach me work ethic whenever I'm missing school. Instead of doing it after I come back, but to do it before I leave, it will help me in life. And I take that to band practice too, because I sometimes like maybe I am not on time and like I'll miss rehearsal or like I have to be absent for something. Instead of learning afterwards, it's to learn beforehand. And I do this a lot in like anything. Anytime I miss for any of my activities, it's do my work before, then after. It's one thing that she instilled in me. And she taught me honesty, which was a hard thing in 8th grade because I was always like, I don't ever want to turn in a yellow card. I don't ever want a late assignment. I just want to be the perfect kid. And there are times where I slipped up because everyone slips up and I just did not want to turn in that yellow card. Like I wanted to do everything but turn in that yellow card. And I kind of took a step back and I was like, it isn't worth all this. Like it's more valuable to my character to turn in this yellow card and realize where I messed up and to look back on that rather than to try to cover it up and have it mess me up in the future. And it's those small things that have just really carried throughout my high school years and have really taught me to not try to cover things up and try to fix the mess I made, but rather approach it as, hey, this is a mistake I made. What can I move on? How can I fix this?
Coach Bowen's positive impact on Ethan was also witnessed by his mom, Jessica. In our conversation, Jessica shares more about how Coach Bowen cultivated an environment where her son was able to thrive independently and was encouraged to rise to a higher level.
Coach Bowen has an incredible way of communicating. You receive emails once a week as a parent, and it's a tough age where you're trying to instill in the kids independence. And so parents are there and we're supporting, but we're taking more of a background role. So I'm checking Skyward once a week just to make sure, that there's not assignments missing. But those communications that came through, I knew exactly what day, what time, anything that he needed to succeed. It was listed in the emails. And so for Ethan, he was able to thrive independently. He didn't need a lot of the constant support from us because Coach Bowen had instilled in her students exactly where they needed to be and go and to thrive. And I think seeing her dedication through even handling tough peers was a great example for Ethan, dealing with lots of different personalities and students and then you continue on through the high school years with a lot of the same personalities and people. And so watching how a teacher models that behavior and helps them rise to a higher standard, it helped Ethan handle, I think, people too, and see how you can help people to succeed that are your own peers.
What sets Coach Bowen apart is her ability to connect with and teach students of all abilities. She takes the time to really get to know each student and listens to the academic conversations they have with their peers to learn from them. Learning from her students is just as important as her students learning from her. By giving them the space to share feedback and by carefully reviewing their work to understand their thought process, she adapts her teaching to meet individual needs so every student can succeed.
I think for me, a key thing is relationships, like really truly getting to know your kids and where they're at. Everybody's at a different spot in life. It's like Ethan even talked about, like, he was good in math and knew this, but like even knowing what he wanted to do, like, and he had goals to do like a geometry class during the summer, and knowing what their goals are is key. But also it's really the walking around and the conversations you're having. All of my students sit in groups. I'm a big partner work because I love to have collaboration and communication. And so like listening, like I think being able to grow as a teacher, you're going to be able to help grow students. And hearing the students say, well, I did it this way. That's not really the way she said to do it, but it will work. Or listening to a kid that'll say, will this always work? And sometimes the answer is no. Ironically, you got the right answer, but then also being open as a teacher, like, it's a great way to do it. Like, I don't know, maybe I need to go research that. At the end of every single year, all of my students will write me a letter. And they get to choose, sign your name or don't sign your name to it, because I want truly honest feedback. And in this letter, they have to tell me things that they liked about my classroom, whether it was classroom management, classroom strategies, the work that we did, and things that they disliked. And again, the name, sign or don't sign, because of the honesty is the best part. And I feel like in order to get students to grow, we as educators have to be willing to grow. And so I have roughly 120 to 160 kids in just my classroom. And it's like taking the time to read each one of those letters. And like, I'll keep like a spreadsheet over there on the side. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. Oh, that's a good idea. Oh, they did not like that. Take that out. And so as I know I have new kids coming the following year, some of the strategies of just being able to grow, to be able to be like, oh, maybe that will help that learner, because sometimes your learners do stay the same of the way that how they learn. And then I'm a big person about like, if you give work, make it meaningful. And so like when they do work, looking at it, I'm not able to write on every single child's paper, but like looking at some of their work and seeing like where they made their mistake. It's like, okay, was it just a negative area? What was your process? And then kind of like I mentioned earlier is going by why. Like a lot of times if a kid's really struggling in my class, I'll be like, well, why did you do that way? I know that's sometimes a hard question to answer, but my whole thing is if I can understand their thought process or their meaning of why they're doing something, and again, academically or behaviorally, to be honest with you, but if I can understand the why behind it, then I have a way to adjust as a teacher to be able to help reach every learner instead of just being like, we all think this way, it's all going to be done this way kind of method.
Through hearing about Ethan's days at school, his mom, Jessica, found herself in awe of Coach Bowen. As a parent, she knew that Ethan had a teacher he could count on to show up, challenge him, and support him academically and personally. What has stuck with her is how even though Ethan is now in high school, the lessons he learned have continued to shape his success and character.
I loved hearing Ethan just come home. He always would just, how was your day? We would just kind of go over, how did your day go today? And he would say whether he was needing to get going on an assignment because he was heading to a lot of activities such as his theater competitions, or if he was just in awe of something. And he would say, wow, I can't believe Coach Bowen, handled that. And she's still coming every day, and she's there, and she's patiently answering every question. I think I loved Ethan telling me, oh yeah, if I have a question, I know Coach Bowen will get back with me really in less than an hour to answer my question outside of the classroom, which is incredible when you're, have a very huge classroom and all the students that you're monitoring. So, but I loved that Ethan remembered even some of the quotes that she shared. And now even to this day, for him in high school, he can recite that quote from Kobe Bryant. That's a very powerful message for him. And I appreciate so much that he received that education, and that it wasn't just the math. He is very skilled in math, but it was also the inspiration to be a hard worker and to be honest and to know that there are tools out there to handle any challenge that comes his way.
Coach Bowen's impact was not just evident through Ethan, but through the classroom environment as a whole. As Ethan and his peers entered Coach Bowen's class, his friends were in the mindset of believing they weren't capable of comprehending the concepts. However, as the year went on, Ethan noticed that his friends started to grasp an understanding of math. He also noticed how Coach Bowen has an incredible ability to meet students where they are, so she can help those who feel behind catch up while still pushing others forward so no one feels left behind.
I've had these really close friends, and we had like the same amount of classes, and like we were like in classes together because COVID happened and everything. So we were all learning together, and we were all like different stages. And like I would be there and I would be like, yeah, this is how you do this and this. And they're like, I don't understand anything you're saying. And I'm like, oh, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then we get to middle school, we kind of it gets a little distant because middle school, it was like way bigger than any elementary I got to. And then we get to Coach Bowen's class, and they're still like, we're in that mindset of I just do what I'm told, and if it's right, it's right, it's wrong, it's wrong. And as the year went on, they were like, I'm kind of actually understanding how this works for the first time. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so happy because these are my close friends that I've been waiting like years for them to like, because I know they're capable of it, but they don't think they're capable of it. And it's getting them out of that mindset that Coach Bowen is so good at. And they don't even know that she's doing that, which is the best part. And so as like we're getting towards the end of the year, and they have gone from 80s to 100s, and they're turning in work on time, and they're understanding every concept, and they're doing great, and they're becoming one of the top students. It's just so great to see like everyone where they started in the beginning of the class and now where they're ending, and how much their concept of math and their understanding of it has changed. And it impacted the classroom environment because in all the other classes where in like sixth grade, whenever everyone's like, I don't really know what's going on, I kind of just do what I do, the teacher really had to focus on those students like, well, let's reteach this, which is a good thing. But all the other students that are kind of like up there and they're like, I understand this, it's getting really boring for us, they kind of get stuck at that standstill level. And Coach Bowen was able to not only focus on those students that couldn't understand and bring them up to that level and push them past that level, but the students that were already at that level, she was able to continue to push us beyond what we thought that we could understand. And it really made the classroom environment like somewhat like when I walked in that classroom, I knew that I was going to learn something that day. And whether I fully understood it or whether I didn't, I knew I was going to eventually. So I think this has to be mentioned is that Coach Bowen in her class with like 36 kids, we would turn in assignments every single day, and she would have like a stack like this tall. And she had a teacher aide in there, and we would all turn it in. But by the end of the day, like almost every single day, we had all of our assignments back, corrected and graded. And this is all while she's teaching, all while she's helping us do our assignments, and all while we're learning, she is getting through this ginormous stack of paper. And then she gets even more back, because if we get it back and it's not right, we continue to correct it until it's right. And so it's just this never ending cycle. And I'm still amazed on how she does it every single class period with this giant stack of papers. So it's amazing.
During our conversation, Coach Bowen mentioned that it's the students who keep her going. Ever since she became a teacher, it has been her goal to leave a lasting impact on her students, not just academically, but personally as well. She expands on the moments where she has felt empowered by her students to continue teaching. Knowing the impact she has made on them has carried throughout their lives.
Kids are what gets you through it. Like, you can get caught up in the politics of education and the new TEKs and the new concepts and the new laws, and all that's changing. But I know it sounds so cliche to say it's the students that keep you going, but it is. And there are two things I really wanted to talk on. It's like all of my life I said I wanted to be a teacher, but not did I want to be a teacher. I wanted to be a teacher that years after kids had me, they would be like, Coach Bowen is my person. Not only did she help me in math, but she helped me become a better person, or she helped the skills that she gave to me helped me through college or helped me through life. And I say it like this, the letters that I get throughout the school year, Thanksgiving, you get the thankful letters, teacher appreciation. Those are the ones that get you day to day. You love them, right? You're like, okay, I'm ready to conquer tomorrow. But then there was also, we lost a young lady due to a tragic accident several years ago. And I knew her mom, and her mom had messaged me and she said, we did a scholarship application for this young lady. And she said, everyone I got talked about you in it, but one. So every scholarship she got, but one talked about me. And I was like, wow, in such a tragic moment in their lives where I never would have ever thought that like anybody would have thought of me, it was still like that moment that I helped them. And so I'm like, okay, like maybe I'm doing something right. And then this moment right here, this moment will hold a place in my heart forever. The fact that Ethan sits down and he's like, hey, what can I do to let Coach Bowen know she's appreciated? And he goes through all of the work. He took the time to do that. And like just listening to the words that he's saying right now, I can't even express my gratitude. Like, and it's beyond gratitude. It's a feeling of love and caring and passion. And maybe it is like all of the hard work pays off, kind of going back to the Kobe quote, that perseverance through some of the challenges that even like maybe I had in life, or maybe Ethan or anybody has had. And you look back and you're like, wow. So I guess to summarize it is like the letters that I get now get me through day to day, but this nomination are what get me from year to year. And knowing that like if I touched one student's life, that they can come back and say, man, Coach Bowen was that person for me that changed my life, that put in all of the honesty, put in the ethics, like that is life-changing to me. That would get me from year to year. That's like, this is what I was called to do.
Thank you so much for listening and joining us today to learn more about Rachel Bowen, our September honoree and recipient of the Honored National Teaching Award. To read more about her story, you can visit our website at honored.org or click the link in the episode description. If you have a teacher who you want to recognize and nominate for our teaching award, you can head to honored.org/nominate to recognize a teacher today. If you enjoyed today's episode, you can follow us and leave us a review on whatever podcast platform you're listening in from. Thanks again for listening, and make sure to tune in next month to hear the incredible story of our October honoree.